Hello everybody, welcome back to Healthy Togetherness. Today I'm very excited to share with you a longtime family favorite. It is a very popular macaroni and cheese. I made this macaroni and cheese long time ago when our son Ian was still in high school. His class was having a potluck and he asked me to make something to bring, and because he loves mac and cheese, we kind of tailored the mac and cheese to the things that he likes, and I went over the top with this mac and cheese recipe because I really didn't think I was going to make it again. So I went all out on it, and it was so popular with his class. He asked for it in other occasions with the other activities he's had, and it's become popular ever since. But the recipe that I'm going to make is really huge. It's really for a potluck size, so you can make half the recipe if it's going to be for a family. But again, this is a fantastic potluck dish. Now, because it is macaroni and cheese, it doesn't really fall into the healthy side of Healthy Togetherness, because remember that we kind of defined healthy as being more nutrient-dense foods as opposed to calorie-dense foods. Mac and cheese, just regular mac and cheese, is already on the calorie-dense foods. This mac and cheese goes over the top as far as the calorie goes. Because we're in this pandemic, self-isolation kind of situation, and we're trying to be together while still keeping our distance, I thought it would be a great idea to make a large size mac and cheese and then pass them around, kind of do a curbside delivery, if you will, to some friends and family. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and make some mac and cheese. Okay, here are the ingredients for the first layer of our mac and cheese. We're going to use Rotini. Feel free to use elbow macaroni if you like that. I just like the Rotini because the cheese gets trapped in the little ridges of the pasta, so that's always nice. We're going to have 1 pound of sharp cheddar cheese, 1 pack of bacon. It can be 12 ounces or 16 ounces, whatever was available at the store. My store didn't carry any 16 ounces, so I got 12. It's fine. 6 slices of American cheese. We have nutmeg. We're going to grate. Ground mustard, some flour, and whole milk. You can use 2% milk. The whole milk does add more flavor just because of the extra fat in there. In regards to the cheese, feel free to use any cheese that you would like. Just make sure that it's a cheese that melts easily. Some cheeses don't really melt easily, and what you're going to get is a kind of a grainy texture when we make the cheese sauce. Right? So that's our first layer. This is our second layer of the mac and cheese, almost the same. So again, we have the box of Rotini. We have a different type of cheese here. Again, 1 pound of cheese. Whatever cheese that you prefer, that's fine. 1 package of bacon, the 6 slices of American cheese, and our whole nutmeg. We're going to grate mustard, flour, milk, and we're not going to be using this entire box, but about a third of the Cheez-Its. We're going to take the Cheez-Its and put it in a zip top bag and just smash it down. Right. And we're going to grate Parmesan cheese also. Okay. As far as serving containers go, the first one I did for my son's school potluck was in this dish, and it actually overflowed a little bit, and it wasn't really convenient when you're traveling around taking this in your car and putting the aluminum foil. It wasn't really convenient, and so if you're going to make a single layer or if you're going to make both layers but it's just going to stay in your home, this is much more presentable. It looks very nice. The pasta is going to come over like this, So it's great. But if you're going to be transporting it somewhere, I recommend getting a roasting pan. This is going to be deep enough so that you can put all of the macaroni and cheese in here. It's wide enough that you can serve it easily, and you can put aluminum foil on top and carry it without anything spilling over. Just so nothing spills. All right. First thing we could need to do is boil some water and season it properly. So what you'd like to do is just get this thing to boil, add enough salt. I already pre-seasoned this. And then dissolve the salt. And then taste it. It should taste seasoned. It shouldn't taste bland, and it shouldn't taste overly salty. Alright, good. If this isn't seasoned properly, then the pasta won't be seasoned properly either. Okay, I'm going to put this on my regular stove because we need this space for something else. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to fry our bacon. Okay, just take your bacon and slice them in about 1 inch. Slippery. Slice your bacon in about 1 inch pieces, just keeping in mind that it's going to shrink, so it's going to be smaller if then it's going to shrink. Alright, just going to put all of this here, and we're going to fry it up. Alright, our bacon is ready. Let me turn this off. And now cook the bacon to whatever degree of crispiness that you like. I like mine kind of soft still. Alright, once our bacon has been transferred, just set it aside. And then we're going to keep the oil that's been rendered from the bacon. We're going to use that later. Okay. All right, so our bacon is taken care of. Let's go ahead and take care of the pasta. I kept our water warm on my stove. Okay, our pasta is ready. Just take a little taste of it. Good. Salting the water really added so much flavor to the pasta. Turn this off. Now before we drain it, reserve about 1 cup of the liquid. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, now we can drain it. Okay. Okay, now that we've drained it, this is very important. We need to release all of that steam because this pasta is still hot. There's still a lot of heat in there. There's a lot of moisture. So if we just let it sit, all that heat is going to be trapped inside, and the bottom, the pasta in the bottom is going to continue to cook, and it'll become mushy as opposed to the perfectly cooked state that it's in right now. So just take a few minutes to stir it. If it's not too big, you can just do this. Whew, my glasses are foggy. Right. Just take about 5 minutes or so to do this, but be careful not to do it so aggressively that the pasta is breaking. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, after cooling the pasta, I divided the pasta into two equal portions here. This is going to have one cheese sauce, and this is going to have the second cheese sauce. Right? Put this aside for right now. We don't need it. I've also taken the time to grate our cheeses. I just took a box grater, and for the cheddar and the Monterey Jack, I used the bigger size of the box grater. For the Parmesan cheese, I used the smaller size. Okay, let's go ahead and make our first cheese sauce. Now, making the cheese sauce is going to take is going to come into several steps. The first thing we're going to do is make our thickener, which is the roux. It's a combination of fat, equal amounts of fat and flour, and then we're going to add milk to it, which milk thickened with roux is a bechamel sauce. It's one of the 5 mother sauces in French cooking. And then, after we make the bechamel sauce, we're going to add cheese to it, and then that's going to be called a Mornay sauce, right? So it's that's one of the things that's so interesting about cooking. A little bit of extra step changes not only the name, but it kind of builds on each other. It changes and it builds upon each other. So it's wonderful. Okay, first thing we're going to do is build our roux. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of the bacon grease that we rendered earlier. That's the reason why we saved it. We could use traditional roux is made with butter or some kind of fat. The traditional one is made out of butter, but because we want to incorporate as much of the bacon flavor into this as possible, we're going to use the bacon grease. Right. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. And we're just going to go ahead and gently mix this together. Now, because we want this to kind of stay brightly colored because of the cheese, we do not want this to turn brown. We're going to kind of continue to mix it. Now, the amount of flour or the amount of roux that you make per cup of milk really depends on what you're making. In this case, we're going to have 1 tablespoon of flour and 1 tablespoon of fat per 1 cup of water, and which will not be a very thick sauce, but I'm expecting the cheese to do the rest of the thickening for us. If we wanted to have a kind of a gravy-like consistency, it would be more like 2 tablespoons of the roux or of the flour per 1 cup of milk. And if you wanted something really thick, like if we were making a souffle, it would be like 3 or 4 tablespoons of flour per cup of milk. All right, that looks good. Now we'll go ahead and slowly add the milk. So we have 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of the fat, and then we have 2 cups of milk here. We're going to add the milk slowly instead of dumping it all at once. Otherwise, we're going to get lumps. We want to get rid of all of those lumps. See how it's thickening up already? Our heat because we put so much cold water in there. I mean cold milk in there. Add the rest of the milk. And next we're going to add on 1 teaspoon of the mustard, dried ground mustard. What the mustard does is it just takes a adds a little bit of tanginess to balance out the sweetness that's coming from the milk. Okay. The next thing is we're going to grate about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to lower this a little bit. You can use pre-ground nutmeg, that's fine too. I just find that the grinding it yourself gives it more flavor. Taste. Could use some salt, but I think that will be fine with the addition of the cheese. Okay, the cheese, add it in slowly, about a handful at a time, otherwise it's going to clump. Okay, when this set is melted, and in the next handful, oh, by the way, before we added the cheese, that was a bechamel sauce, and it's a it's a base for almost a lot of different dishes. By adding this cheese, we're making a Mornay sauce, cheddar Mornay. Alrighty, let's give that a try. Very cheesy. That is so good. Nope, we don't need any more salt. It's good enough as it is. Turn this off. Move our stove aside. Doesn't that look good? Oh yeah. Just go ahead and combine it. Make sure everything is well coated with cheese. All right. Now the reason I reserved some of the pasta water is if it's too thick, that it won't what do you call that? Mix easily. We can just add a little bit of the pasta water. just to make it a little more creamy. There we go. Maybe a little more. There we go. Very creamy looking. I love my dog. Okay. Okay, first layer. Just so it doesn't stick, we're going to take a little bit of cooking spray. Our first layer, just going to go ahead and put it down. Take half of our bacon. All right. And then take our American cheese slices. Okay, now if we were only going to make one layer of this mac and cheese, go ahead and skip towards the end where we put the topping on with the Parmesan cheese and the crackers and whatnot. But for now, we're going to stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and make the cheese sauce for the next layer, combine that, and then we'll come back. Okay? We'll be right back. Second layer of pasta is done. So I added a little bit more of American cheese on here. Someone gave us a big block of American cheese and I just decided to go ahead and use it so it's not taking up so much room in our refrigerator. But the pre-sliced American cheese is perfect too. Right. So, alright. I'm going to go ahead and add our second layer of pasta. So as you can see, this cheese, when it melts, is more stringy than the cheddar. So not all cheeses melt velvety smooth when they're made into a sauce. This one, and like mozzarella, for example, would be stringy. But that's fine. It works. I think Scout is excited. We're almost finished. You excited, buddy? All right. So next, a little bit of bacon. Not too much on this one because we want not too much bacon on this one because we're going to put some on the top layer, just for effect. Alright, next we're going to take our cheese. Okay. Next I have about a cup of the crackers here. put it in the zip top bag and go ahead and crunch it. Okay, doesn't have to be fine. All right. And we don't actually have to use it all either, but just to give it a nice crunchy top layer. Parmesan cheese on top. All right, and then bacon. Okay. How amazing does that look? It's not even cooked yet. Well, it's cooked, but we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven so all the cheese melts. It's at 375 for about 30 minutes or so. All right, so we'll be back.
20 minutes later.
Alright, that should have rested enough. I put the foil on just to keep the top of this mac and cheese warm. The inside is going to be warm, but the top will cool down a lot faster. Alright, let's give it a try. Okay. Ooh, that's a big portion. All right. You knew I was going to put it on a salad, right? You had to have seen that one coming. All right. Looking good. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of dressing on the salad. Right, and there we go. That's our family style mac and cheese. It's very famous in my neighborhood. Okay, let's give it a try. That is so cheesy. And the crackers that we put on top, it stayed crisp, so you have this little crunch. Even better. That was so good. All right, that is great. All right. Yum. Hi everybody, thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and that you would try it. If you did like the video, please give me a thumbs up and share, and leave some comments for me. The recipe is going to be in the description portion of this video, and my wife and I are gonna go and make some curbside deliveries. Curbside deliveries to some friends and family. I've got mac and cheese over here and a salad over there. I had to make it part of Healthy Togetherness, so got to give it some vegetables in there. All right. Have a great day and be safe. Focus. Okay, find me. Okay, there we go. Hi everybody, welcome back to Healthy Togetherness, and oh, I forgot my jacket.